everyone, and welcome to this video on Terry Funk. His first year in professional wrestling was 1965. And to tell us a little bit about some of his first matches, Rodney West, go ahead and throw these matches out.
Yeah, we started off the Civic Center in Brownfield, Texas on December the 6th, 1965. It's Red Osborne against Terry Funk, winner unknown. Then he goes to the Sports Arena in Amarillo on December the 9th, 1965. Terry Funk defeats Spudnik Monroe. Spudnik, one of the great living legends of professional wrestling, should I say. Fair Park Coliseum, Lubbock, Texas, December 15th, 1965. It's Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk defeating Ivan Furpo, Jack Donovan, and Tokyo Tom. Ector County Coliseum, Odessa, Texas on December 21st, 1965. Doug Gilbert and Bob Geigel versus Terry Funk and Ricky Romero, winner unknown. Fair Park Coliseum, Lubbock, Texas, December the 22nd, 1965. It's Dory Funk and Terry Funk defeating Rene Goulet and Doug Gilbert. Sports Arena, Amarillo, Texas on December the 23rd, 1965. It's Wahoo McDaniels and Terry Funk defeating Mike DiBiase and Jake Kane. In the Sports Arena, Amarillo, Texas, on January the 13th, 1966, Terry Funk and Wahoo McDaniels defeated Ricky Romero and Dory Funk Jr. Wait a minute. It's a brothers match here. Defeated by countout as the title change. The NWA Southwest Tag Team titles change hands from, I guess, was it Terry and Wahoo defeated? Yeah, Terry and Wahoo defeated them to win the Southwest Tag Team Championship in a 2 out of 3 fall.
I wonder how that all came about. You think it was a tournament type deal? Maybe a battle?
It could very well be. Well, it's 2 out of 3 falls. Normally, tournament matches were not 2 out of 3 falls. So I would say that it was just a regular competition match. That would be something. Terry Funk, Wahoo McDaniel, Ricky Romero, Dory Funk Jr. Then we go to the Kiel Auditorium, St. Louis, Missouri on February the 4th, 1966. Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk defeated Dick the Bruiser and Lee Henning in 30 minutes in a 2 out of 3 fall match. Fair Park Coliseum, Lubbock, Texas, February 23rd, 1966. Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk defeated Dutch Savage, John Donovan, and Don Jardine, who is the spoiler later on, and also Super Destroyer. Sports Arena, Amarillo, Texas on March the 10th, 1966. It's Don Jardine and Dutch Savage defeating Terry Funk and Wahoo McDaniels by countout. The Southwest Tag Team Championships changed hands, and Don Jardine and Dutch Savage becomes the champion in a 2 out of 3 fall match. Then we go to Sports Arena in Amarillo, Texas on June 2nd, 1966. Fritz Von Erich defeated Terry Funk, 2 out of 3 fall match. Sports Arena back, Amarillo, Texas again on June the 23rd, 1966. Is Dory Funk, Terry Funk, and Dan Miller defeating Bob Brown, the Angel, and Art Nelson in a 2 out of 3 fall match. And then we hit to the Sports Arena in Amarillo again, and that is going to be on August the 11th, 1966. Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk defeat Bob Brown and Mike DiBiase, and the titles change hands. It was for the Southwest Tag Team Championship in a 2 out of 3 fall match. Dory and Terry Funk winning the titles in that one.
Before we move on, we got to look at some of these people. Sputnik Monroe. Terry Funk actually said in the interview that he actually had he has said that Spudnik Monroe was his first match, but there was a match before then again with Red Osborne, but I'm not for sure. That was not a mixed tag team match. I believe that was actually a mixed tag team match. Now, because he talks about that was his first match, and then he went against Sputnik Monroe. This is the story he tells. Terry Funk said he was in there wrestling, and he said he was letting Sputnik Monroe just beat him senseless, he said. And he said his dad come running down there, and he said, boy, the people thought that was so good. He said they thought, man, look at this. The dad's coming down because he's getting beat up. He said, he really wasn't coming down because I was getting beat up. He's coming down there because he said, kid, are you going to fight back at any time during this match? He said, so I started fighting back. The people were going nuts. He said, but the truth was I was afraid the old man was going to beat me up when I got in the back. So he said, I started beating old Sputnik Monroe all over the ring. He said, well, I didn't really beat him all over the ring. He let me beat him all over the ring. But yeah, I guess it helped that my dad was the owner. But But look at these other.
I think that would have been awesome. Even if you're just a fan watching this, seeing Dory Funk come down the aisle and tell, "Are you ever going to fight back?" And then he fights back. It just seemed beautiful. Just storybook, really.
And by the way, wasn't written. It was not written. It was done. But look at some other. Bob Geigel. He gets to wrestle against Bob Geigel and Doug Gilbert, which is not the Doug Gilbert that we all know of. He was actually also what else did he wrestle? The professional. Rene Goulet. It's another one he got to wrestle against. And I mean, look, you got the team of Wally McDaniel, Mike DiBiase, which is the father of Ted DiBiase. Just the people, Dick the Bruiser, Lee Heenan. I mean, Don Jardine and Dutch Savage, which was a great tag team back in those days. I mean, just Fritz Von Erich. I mean, he got to wrestle the who's who in professional wrestling in his first year in wrestling. And so, Jack, go ahead and pick up from there. But
all right, August the 15th, 1966, at the Fair Park Arena in Abilene, Texas. Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk versus Mike DiBiase and Killer Carl Cox. And that match ended without a winner as a no contest 2 out of 3 falls match. Then on August the 17th, Fair Park Coliseum again in Lubbock, Texas, Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk defeated Gary Hart, Tony Bourne, and Art Nelson. And September the 12th, Sports Arena in Clovis, New Mexico. Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk defeated Tora Tanaka and Jack Kane. I'm sorry, winner unknown in that one. And then September the 16th, 1966, Kiel Auditorium in St. Louis, Missouri. Fritz Von Erich defeated Dory Funk and Terry Funk by disqualification in a 2-on-1 handicap match. September the 18th, 66, and Civic Auditorium in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Dory Jr. and Terry Funk versus Waldo Von Erich and Killer Carl Cox ended without a winner. And then back in Amarillo at the Sports Arena in Amarillo, Texas on the 27th, of October. I'm not looking at my notes good. Terry Funk defeated Gary Hart in a Texas death match. And then November the 6th, 1966, Civic Auditorium in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Dick Steinborn in the Viking versus Terry Funk and Ricky Romero, winner unknown. And then on November the 10th, 66, Sports Arena in Amarillo, Texas. Terry Funk defeated Killer Carl Cox by disqualification, 2 out of 3 falls match. And then on the 16th of November, Fair Park Coliseum in Lubbock, Texas, Tora Tanaka and Killer Carl Cox defeated Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk, the title change for the NWA Southwest Tag Team Championship. And then on December the 7th, 66, Fair Park Coliseum in Lubbock, Texas, Terry Funk and Dan Miller defeated Tora Tanaka and Killer Carl Cox with a title change. Then December the 11th, Civic Auditorium in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Dick Steinborn and Gary Hart versus Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk for the World Tag Team titles, the Amarillo version. And then December the 13th, 1966, Ector County Coliseum in Odessa, Texas, Terry Funk versus Waldo Von Erich, winner unknown.
Wow. And, that's just his first year.
Yeah.
Just his first year. I mean, actually, he started in December of 1965, but really that's his first year in wrestling. Man, and that's not all of his matches, by the way. That's just, we would be on here for 5 hours if we would just hit all the matches because they wrestled most of the time 7 days a week. I mean, look at these people. Killer Carl Cox, Gary Hart. A lot of people don't know that Gary Hart was a professional wrestler. They just know of him as a manager. But Gary Hart was a pretty decent wrestler. Toro Tanaka. Evidently, Jack Kane must have been a big deal in Texas.
Yeah.
But look at Fritz Von Erich and Waldo Von Erich. Just the people he got to wrestle.
Yeah.
Dickie Steinborn. I mean, the people he got to wrestle was incredible for his first year in wrestling. No wonder Terry Funk turns out to be one of the greatest professional wrestlers of that time.
Because if he didn't, Daddy was going to get him. It was reverse of certain other sons in the wrestling business.
It's true. Let's look at this card here. It's Big Time Wrestling, Amarillo Sports Arena, Thursday, March 17th at 8:30. Dutch Savage and Don Jardine against Terry Funk and Dory Jr. semifinal. Tokyo Tom against Wahoo McDaniel. I think it says best 2 out of 3 falls. Featured attraction, Sky Lolo against Iris Jackie for a little person match. And the first event, Ricky Romero versus Bob Hart. Look at this. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 guys on this card at the Amarillo Sports Arena.
Now, this is the one. This is Dory Funk promoting this, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And one of my favorites, Sky Lolo. He's one of my favorites of all time.
Here's another card, the Big Time Wrestling, Amarillo Sports Arena, Thursday, January 13th at 8:30 p.m. $2,000 to the winner, 14-man Russian Roulette Battle Royal. I think we asked about this before. What was a Russian Roulette Battle Royal? I wonder what that was.
No idea.
We're going to have to look that up.
Haystacks Calhoun on this card, 670 pounds. Dory Funk Sr., Jack Kane, plus all the other wrestlers on the card.
There's that match, and I believe we had it for Southwest title, right? That's the North American Tag Team Championship match, Dory Funk Jr. and Ricky Romero against Terry Funk and Wahoo McDaniel. Isn't that the match or is that the return match?
You know, this thing says January 13th, Amarillo Sports Arena. We had it down in the Southwest, but this says the North American Tag Team Championship. Dory Funk Jr., Ricky Romero against Terry Funk, Wahoo McDaniel. Yeah.
And Iron Mike is Iron Mike DiBiase, right?
Yes. And I don't know. Jack, you ever heard of Trench Phillips?
I have heard. I don't know anything about him, but I have heard that name.
Plus 2 other matches on this Big Time.
I noticed that they didn't put exciting on there, so they wouldn't be worth watching.
Or they didn't put no stars on that thing. You gotta have stars. I always have stars.
Stars all over it. Makes
your poster, or your stuff. Let's see. Some guys actually. Let's see. Richard Hood said Terry Funk was a constant professional. He was one of my favorites. The feud between him and Dusty Rhodes was legendary, and him becoming NWA champion and battling with Harley Race.
Yeah, that was one of the most awesome things ever when Terry Funk come out of the audience there in Orlando and jumped Dusty, causing him the world title. I mean, that was used everywhere. It was used in Atlanta. It was used everywhere. It's awesome.
The empty arena match with Jerry Lawler was legendary. Richard Hood,
yes.
And he said Terry was crazy. I doubt during this point in time in 1965. I bet he didn't have that. I bet he wasn't crazy at that time.
No, not at that time.
I don't think he had hit that yet. I don't think he hit it there. Richard Hood said, sorry, guys, Dory could wrestle but had no personality. All right, folks, if you've enjoyed this video, give us the big thumbs up and subscribe to the page and go one step further, hit that notification bell. Until the next video, on behalf of Rodney West and Jack Lord, I'm Brett West, and we'll see you on the next video. Let's see, Richard. You said, guys, was the name of the TV series that Terry was on back in the 80s? It wasn't Lonesome Dove, was it?
No, that was Wild Side. It was a TV series. It was William Smith. I don't know if y'all remember him. He done a lot of B movies. He was in a lot of Westerns, but he was built. I mean, tremendous physique on him. And a guy named J. Eddie Peck, Howard Rollins, Sandy McPeak, Terry Funk, John D. Aquino, and Meg Ryan.
Wow.
I remember the series. It was pretty good.
Only lasted find this series. I wonder if you can find this series on.
I don't know. We'll bring that up tomorrow night if I can find it.
Have you seen any videos of Mike DiBiase? I would love to see him wrestle. Have you seen any videos?
I want to say I have, but I can't say that for sure.
I need to look that up. Richard, or any of our people in here that are insiders, have you ever seen a match with Mike DiBiase? You have? Let us know. I'd like to see it.
Guys, was Dory and Terry the first and only brothers single world champions? I think so, wasn't he?
Mhm.
Dory actually, from what Dad told us, Dory was probably one of the, if not the best world champion ever. He held it for 4 years straight without a loss the whole time. There was none of this dropping it one night and winning it back a couple of days later. He held it 4 years straight.
Dory and Terry were big in Detroit and Japan.
I see one match with Iron Mike DiBiase. If you'll just enter Mike DiBiase. Now, there's plenty of Mike DiBiase matches, but that's Ted's son that has a lot of matches on here. I think he's the one that got into trouble.
If you put, is it Iron Mike?
Yeah, it'll pull up if you just say Mike DiBiase. It pulls it up too. There's a lot of his grandson, but I've only seen one of him, and there's one video of his death. But that's looks like it's like.
Well, I heard he was awesome.
Yeah,
awesome wrestler.
Yeah, this is about a 5-minute match is all that they have on here.
I see it. It looks like one with Rocky Colombo. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right, I will bookmark that and watch that later.
Richard hadn't seen one. Rodney Robert Gross hadn't seen one, and also Robert said, "Didn't Terry go through a phase of wearing barbed wire?" I don't remember that.
I think matches.
Yeah, I think when he was in ECW, he may have come out to the ring with it already wrapped around him or something.
Around him, yeah.
Oh man.
Which now I'll give you my little Terry Funk story real quick too. Is we were in Boutwell Auditorium. I forgot who was promoting the show, but Terry was on the show. I was backstage. And I had my girlfriend with me at the time. She was doing a valet thing for me. And so she's sitting back there, the big open area when you first come in. And she's sitting on the couch. And I'm standing over there. And Terry walks by and he shakes my hand. And he looks over at her and he says, who are you with? And she said, I'm with Jack. And he said, well, heck, if I knew you liked the old guys, I'd have got here early.
Oh, Terry was a character. He really was. Nice guy, though.
Yeah.
Just a nice.
Yeah, did tell us all.
He's supposed to be at the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame this year.
Oh, is he?
Oh,
I love to see him. He's.
Yeah, did tell us all kinds of story of Terry Funk situation where he was in an elevator one time, and he got in the elevator. And this old lady was standing beside him, and he let just a big ripping one and just stunk that whole elevator up. And he turned around and looked at that old lady like she had done it, and she was just like looking at him like, "What?" And he opened the door like, "That one stinks in there."
Hey, Roddy, do you have your gimmick on that makes it
Echo?
Echo?
Not that I know. No, it's not on.
For some reason, we're echoing tonight.
It may not.
I don't hear an echo.
Maybe it's on my side. Maybe my hearing's going.
Let me turn it up, man. I've got it turned the wrong way. If I get any echo,
that's an echo.
That's an echo there. But it seems like it's on a little bit.
Let's just all do echoes.
I don't think I have an echo on mine. I'm not for sure.
I don't think mine works. No, I've got it full up for echo.
Yeah.
Echo.
All we're worried about now is her microphone.
It took me 2 hours to learn how to turn it on, so I don't mess with it. I just turn all the power off at one time and then turn it back on and pray that it still works.
Dan Lane says there's a documentary about DiBiase. No video, but we did find a video. Let's see. If we can't post the video.
Yes. Now that is on Amazon Prime. Cannot remember the name of it right now, but it's a very good documentary on Ted, and he does talk about his dad. And both of his sons are in there. Or two of his sons. I think he has 3, doesn't he? But anyway, it's really good. It's really good. I mean, he really opens himself up very truthfully, about the things he went through, about what a bad person he was, basically, to his wife, and how he cheated on her and everything. And then she laid the law down, and he decided, hey, I need to start going to church and change my life, and he did. Because he realized his wife, fame and fortune didn't mean anything without her. So it's a great story. Great story.
Robert did say that's right, ECW. Richard Hood, how about when Terry and Dusty went driving down the street shooting street signs?
I wouldn't.
Put it past him. Well, now, the big deal back in the 70s was throwing the beer bottles hitting signs.
That's right.
That was the big deal.
Yeah. Fun times. Fun times.
Back in the 70s. I don't remember doing it in the 80s, but
I did not drink and drive, but I did dispose of some of your dad's beer bottles along the way.
Victor Nash said Mike DiBiase versus Rocky Colombo.
I got to see that.
Robert said he heard that for just a minute, the little thing. I don't know where it's coming. I don't know if it's maybe coming from me. I just want to make sure it's not me that's making that do that. And Victor Nash said on YouTube.
I'm definitely going to check that out because I've heard about him. Dad said he was awesome. I never did see him. I know he passed away in the ring. Terrible tragedy. Yeah. And it did affect Ted.
While we're talking about Ted's documentary, while we're talking about that, I also watched Vampiro's documentary last week, and language warning. It's pretty graphic as far as language, but it's a very good documentary and really shows the sacrifice that you have to go through in order to make it, or that he went through. A lot of the stuff he went through was self-inflicted because as he says, I was stupid, but he wanted to make a living at this business. And even though he can barely get around and he's got all kinds of neurological issues or whatever, he's still in the game. It's behind the scenes, but the videos of him running stuff at I can't remember the promotion in Mexico that he works with out of the top of my head, but he runs those shows. They're big ones. He runs everything. He's the headpiece guy. He's the one who writes everything. He's learned 2 languages in order to to do all this kind of stuff. And he is just everywhere. And I'm thinking, we all know, we know what kind of work that takes. But for the magnitude of that show and one guy to be doing it, it's very impressive. And the thing at the end of it, though, is that, everything he does for himself.
Richard Hood said, Dusty and Terry had a little person. Yeah, Terry tells a story, very interesting story. Terry was a character, and there's no doubt about it. But one of the best wrestlers ever in the wrestling business.
And he can make a star out of you just by working with you, and I believe happy to do it.
Yeah,
I believe happy to do it.